Chapter 4136. This is the Earth City. From the water source to the Earth City, they had to pass through the teleportation formation. 4 years later, the team from the Muri tribe arrived at the Earth City. The people of the Muri tribe stood at a huge teleportation formation square and looked around. This Earth City looks so majestic. Every building is tens of thousands of meters tall. There are also some strange birds and beasts flying above them. How majestic! Standing on the square of the teleportation formation, Tianci looked at his surroundings with a shocked expression. The Mystic Earth tribe is known as the first tribe. It's really impressive. Muri Yin'er's eyes also flickered as she scanned the surroundings, a trace of amazement on her face. Muri Yin'er's knowledge wasn't much better than Tianci's. This was also the first time she had come to the Mystic Earth tribe. The Mystic Earth tribe is extremely powerful. Look at those birds and beasts flying in the sky. Those are powerful elemental beasts. The Mystic Earth tribe has reared several powerful elemental beasts. The Earth Dragon army of the Mystic Earth tribe is the strongest army in the Six Paths universe. They are invincible. Muri Yin'er's father introduced the tribe to Tianci with a smile. Tianci was now considered a treasure of the Muri tribe. As his grandfather, he didn't have any objections to Tianci's birth. He even felt that it might be a blessing in disguise. When Tianci heard this, he nodded and looked around curiously. In the surroundings, there were many experts and disciples from various clans. The Muri tribe was pretty strong. However, there was still a huge gap between them and the top tribes. This time, it wasn't just the tribes from the 6 great treasure lands that had come. All the tribes in the outer regions had also come. However, compared to the tribes from the 6 great treasure lands, the other tribes were much weaker. Let's go. The Mystic Earth tribe has prepared accommodations for all the tribes for the 6 Paths conference. Let's head over first. An elder of the Muri tribe said as he swept his gaze across everyone. Then, the group followed the elder and flew to a corner of the Earth City. The entire Earth City was huge. Buildings made of earth exuded a heavy aura. Some of the buildings even had powerful battle fortresses. One look and anyone could tell that they weren't simple. They flew all the way inside. Soon, they arrived at a basin in the center. It was a huge basin. In the center of the basin, there was a huge arena. Around the arena, there were also small arenas. Around these basins were holes in the ground. There were countless holes in the ground, and there were people going in and out of them. This time, the 6 Daos competition will be held here. Around this basin is an underground palace. We live in holes in the ground, Li Yarrow said. The elder of the Muri tribe said. Meanwhile, an expert of the Mystic Earth tribe flew over and led them towards a cave. Although it was a cave, it still looked extremely majestic. The cave gave off a heavy aura and an earthen yellow luster, giving off a luxurious feeling. The interior of the cave was extremely luxurious, and there was a huge living room. Further in, there were many luxurious rooms. There were more than 10,000 rooms in a single cave. Each room was incomparably spacious. People of the Muri tribe, you will stay here for the time being. This is the center of our Earth City, and it is also the safest place. In our Earth City, it is forbidden to have any internal strife, especially killing. Once a fight breaks out, it doesn't matter who is right or wrong. Just kill. If you have any grudges, you can settle them in the arena. Life and death are allowed in the arena. The expert of the Mystic Earth tribe reminded the people of the Muri tribe. All right. Thank you, young man. The elder of the Muri tribe nodded with a smile. In the Earth City, they naturally wouldn't dare to act presumptuously. After all, the Mystic Earth tribe had creation realm experts. There's a street not far from the 6 Daos arena. You can trade anything there, as well as have some fun and entertainment. Currently, there's still another 100 years before the 6 Daos competition starts. Everyone can take a look around here. The middle-aged expert of the Mystic Earth tribe continued with a smile. The elders of the Muri tribe nodded. Everyone, find a room and take a look around. Remember, don't cause trouble here. After the people of the Mystic Earth tribe left, the elder of the Muri tribe said to everyone, Godfather, Mother, Let's go out and play later. Tian Xi immediately said to Wang Xian and Muri Yin excitedly. This was his first time traveling, and he was very excited. No problem. Wang Xian nodded. Muri Yin who was beside him, also responded with a smile. Soon, the few of them walked out of the cave and flew out. There are so many people. It's so lively. Along with Wang Xian, the rest of the Muley tribe were also strolling around. Wang Xian scanned the surroundings. There were many experts in the Earth City. Wang Xian sensed quietly but didn't sense the aura of the Creation Realm experts. The Creation Realm experts from other universes. They probably wouldn't dare to come here. Wang Xian thought to himself. After all, this was the Earth City, the main city of a Creation Realm expert tribe. Moreover, after the 6 Daos competition started, the Creation Realm experts would likely descend. To them, this place was extremely dangerous. Moreover, the Mystic Earth tribe should have made some preparations for those Creation Realm experts. Although the Creation Realm experts were strong, in the 6 Daos universe, 10 Pinnacle Universe Lords were more than enough to kill one Creation Realm expert. After all, the Creation Realm experts would be suppressed here. Of course, the Creation Realm experts all had their own trump cards. The possibility of killing them was too small. Wang Xian had the supreme treasure in Tianxi's body to conceal himself. Unless the Creation Realm experts were a few hundred meters away from him, they wouldn't be able to detect him. Next, the group strolled around the Earth City. There were more and more experts and disciples in the Earth City. The experts and disciples from various tribes also arrived one by one. Wang Xian strolled around with Tianxi, Muri Yin and the rest every day. Dong, dong, dong. One day after 100 years, an earth-shaking roar sounded from the arena of the 6 Daos competition. Tianxi, it's about to start. Let's hurry over. Muri Yin's voice sounded from outside. Coming, coming. Tianxi came out of the room and the group immediately headed outside. In the surrounding area, from the cave of the incomparably huge basin, many experts and disciples walked out one by one. In addition, a large number of experts and disciples were flying over from the surrounding areas. The 6 Daos competition had begun. Everyone who likes the Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System, please collect. The Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System is the fastest to search for updates. Chapter 4137. Wang Xian followed Tian Xi out of the cave and scanned the surroundings like a spectator. In the 6 Paths universe, the experts and disciples of all the powerful tribes had gathered. Each of them exuded different auras. A proud young man with his head held high. A valiant and heroic lady. A calm and collected middle-aged man. A brilliant and famous supreme talent. The 6 Paths Conference had gathered almost all the elites of the 6 Paths universe. The experts from the various tribes led their disciples to the arenas. The experts and disciples of the Muley tribe also came to a place and stood there, looking around. Beside them, there were also many experts and disciples of other tribes sizing each other up. Soon, most of the tribes had gathered and stood in position. Wong wong wong, wong wong wong. At the center of the front, there was a spectator stand. There were chairs on it. Obviously, it was the seat of honor. Over there, figures in earthy yellow robes and emanating a mysterious black glow flew towards the seats of honor. There were a total of 50 to 60,000 experts and disciples. Some of the younger disciples had proud and arrogant expressions on their faces. Those are the Shen Tu tribe and the deceased tribe. They stand above all the other tribes. Beside Wang Xian, Muri Yin's father introduced them softly. The 2 tribes stood above all the other tribes in terms of intelligence. They had Creation Realm experts of Sky Origin Realm. They also had the most experts in the tribes. When the experts and disciples of the Mystic Earth tribe and the deceased tribe arrived, everyone in the surroundings looked over. There were tens of millions of experts and disciples around the arena. The number of people from the Muley tribe was considered small. Have the disciples of the various tribes arrived? At the seat of honor, in the center of the Shen Tu tribe, an old man with a walking stick and a special hat on his head looked at the people of the deceased tribe and asked plainly. Reporting to the leader, all of them are here. A middle-aged man bowed and reported loudly at the front. Since you're here, let's begin. Many of you might not recognize me, so allow me to introduce myself. I'm the leader of the Black Earth tribe. The 6 DAOs meeting is being held under the orders of the 3 lords, and will be held in the underground city. The purpose of this 6 DAOs tournament is to help our 6 DAOs universe select disciples with great potential to be nurtured. This grand competition concerns the entire 6 DAOs universe, and there is no concept of clans. Those who are successful will be rewarded with treasures and resources prepared by the 3 lords. All powerful disciples, do not hide anything. As long as you have the ability, you will be able to obtain opportunities that you can't even imagine. The leader of the Shen Earth tribe spoke, his voice ringing in everyone's ears. All the experts and disciples of the tribes were stunned when they heard this. Tens of millions of gazes fell on the old man. For many of the disciples, this was the first time they had seen the chief of the Mystic Earth tribe. Who would have thought that this person was a peak universe ruler, the leader of the Mystic Earth tribe? Hearing his words, many of the disciples who had great ambitions and lofty aspirations revealed excited expressions on their faces. If he could achieve something in this 6-path conference, he would become famous in a single battle. As long as he could achieve something, he would be famous in the world. Not to mention, there was also the possibility of great opportunities. How could they not be tempted? Even Tian Xi's eyes lit up as he watched with passion. The 6 DAOs tournament is divided by age. There are the War God group, Heaven List group, Heaven Chosen group, and Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group. Only universe rulers can participate in the War God group. As for the War God group, Heaven List group, and Heaven Chosen group, there is an age restriction. The early stages of the competition are relatively simple, and each group has 1,000 slots. After competing for the 1,000 slots, you can participate in the official competition. As long as you are in the top 1,000, you will be rewarded. The higher your rank, the better the rewards. The Shen Earth tribe's leader continued to introduce to everyone, "Alright, you guys will handle the details. The selection begins now." The Shen Earth tribe's leader did not say much. He looked to the side, and with a flash, he disappeared. There are no rules for the competition. Those who think that they have the strength to enter the top 1,000, come out and report your name, age, and cultivation level. Those who are not convinced can challenge you. For the time being, the top 1,000 in each group will be the slots. Challenge them and occupy the slot. An expert from the Shen Earth tribe continued. Tian Xi, go up. Join the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group at your age. Follow me and we will investigate. In the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, you can be in the top 3 with your 5th Order Universe Venerable Realm cultivation level. Tian Xi's grandfather instructed as the expert from the Shen Earth tribe landed. Tian Xi's strength was the strongest in the Muley tribe in the past 10 billion years. Even in the entire 6 DAOs universe, he was extremely terrifying. At such a young age, a 5th Order Universe Venerable Realm expert was almost invincible among his peers. Perhaps only the Shen Earth tribe and the deceased tribe could have experts who were stronger than Tian Xi. Given Tian Xi's strength, he could even get a good result in the Heaven Chosen group. Yes, Grandpa. Tian Xi nodded his head and looked at his mother and Wang Xian. Follow your heart. You can keep a low profile and show off your abilities. Wang Xian looked at Tian Xi and said with a smile, "Godfather, will there be no more of such scenes in the future?" Upon hearing Wang Xian's words, Tian Xi looked around and asked, "No more, unless you have a bad taste." Wang Xian smiled at him and shook his head. He, alright then. From today onwards, I will let the entire 6 DAOs universe know about me, Mu Li Tian Xi. I will make my mother proud of me. Tian Xi lifted his head and smiled at his mother. With a swift move, he flew towards the arena for the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group. A large number of experts were also flying over from the surrounding areas. Among them, there were other experts and disciples from the Muley tribe who flew towards different arenas. However, everyone in the Muley tribe had high hopes for Tian Xi. When Tian Xi landed on the arena for the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, other people of the same age flew over. Muley Tribe, Mu Li Tianci, 5th Order Universe Venerable Realm. Tianci stood on the arena, looked at the opponents flying over and smiled. He cupped his hands together and declared confidently to the crowd. Below the stage, Wang Xian smiled when he saw Tianci standing on the stage with a confident look and a sharp edge. He was like an old father who saw his son grow up and become successful. This was youth, this was youth. Chapter 4138. Rank 5 Universe Venerable Realm Strength. Tianci stood on the arena for the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix. After he announced his strength, all the disciples around him heard it and looked at him in astonishment. The Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix Arena. Everyone on this arena was under 200 million years old. At this age, most of the people on the stage had just stepped into the Universe Venerable Realm. At a glance, there were only a few Rank 3 Universe Venerables, not to mention a Rank 5 Universe Venerable. There was not a single one of them on the entire stage. Muley Tribe, a Rank 5 Universe Venerable. So strong. He's definitely in the top 3 in our group. That's about right. How did this guy cultivate? Why is his cultivation level so high? Most importantly, he's not from the deceased tribe or the Xian Earth tribe. Wow, his cultivation level is so much higher than ours, right? Some of the youths glanced at Tianci, who stood out like a crane among chickens, with looks of envy and respect. The people on the Hidden Dragon Young Phoenix stage were the top youths of the Six Paths universe. They came from various tribes. Each of them was one of the best in their respective tribes. But now, some were shocked by Tianci. Not bad. To have such strength after cultivating for 90 million years, not bad at all. An old man hovered in the air above the Hidden Dragon Young Phoenix stage. He looked at Tianci and nodded, praising him generously. What? He hasn't even cultivated for 100 million years. No way. He's only half my age and he's already this strong. Hiss, how terrifying. The surrounding people were shocked when they heard the old man's words. What a surprise. I thought I was invincible in my generation. I didn't expect this brother to be so strong too. Ha ha ha, this is interesting. At this moment, a youth flew over from the seat of honor at the very front. Beside him, there were over 100 others. The young man in the middle was 3 meters tall, and his body was filled with explosive muscles. He looked extremely sturdy. He looked at Tianci and laughed. Invincible in your generation? You're Tu Jiangtong of the Mystic Earth tribe, right? Your strength is not bad, but you are no match for me. Crash. The youths of the Mystic Earth tribe flew over and landed on the arena where the necromancer's attribute was. The youth in the lead glanced at Tu Jiangtong and Tianci. Neither of you are a match for me. His face was full of confidence and pride. On his neck hung a human head that shone with a black light. The black light shone on his pale face, making him look extremely eerie. You two are so small. I'll send you flying with a slap. When Tu Jiangtong saw the young man flying over, he grinned and shook his head in disdain. Tianci's gaze swept over them. When he heard their words, a smile appeared on his face. 2 Rank 5 Universe Venerables, if they join hands, they can barely fight me. With a wave of his hand, the water in front of him condensed, and a sharp sword appeared in his hand. Tianci said calmly. It was as if he was talking about something very easy. As soon as he finished his words, Tu Jiangtong and the youth from the dead tribe were taken aback and focused their attention on him. Haha, I thought I was confident enough. To think that you are even more confident and arrogant than me. Tu Jiangtong stared at Tianci and laughed. He squinted his eyes and walked straight towards Tianci. He looked him up and down and slowly extended his huge palm. Very well, let's get to know each other. Tu Jiangtong walked over and extended his hand as he spoke to Tianci. Tianci smiled and extended his hand for a handshake. All the surrounding youths focused their attention on him. This was obviously a fight between them. A pair of huge palms and a pair of small hands shook hands. Wang. Following which, everyone could feel a surge of energy brewing in their palms. Some of the weaker ones could not help but take a step back. Tianci and Tu Jiangtong smiled as they looked at each other. Their physiques did not seem to match. But soon, the smile on Tu Jiangtong's face disappeared. SSS. 5 seconds later, he hurriedly pulled his arm out. His huge arm was trembling non-stop. He stared at Tianzi with a myriad of expressions on his face. Not bad. Tianzi looked at him, smiled, and said, Not bad, not bad. It seems like I have to use all my trump cards if I want to defeat you. Tu Jiangtong's expression changed slightly as he spoke to Tianzi solemnly. I'm looking forward to the duel. Tianzi also smiled at him. Haha, great. I'm looking forward to it. That's what makes it interesting. It seems like the first place of our group will be decided between the two of us and this pretty boy. Tu Jiangtong laughed heartily in a forthright manner. Idiot. When the youth from the dead tribe heard the way Tu Jiangtong addressed him, his face darkened as he cursed. Tu Jiangtong didn't pay much attention to him. That Mu Li Tianzi is so handsome. He is not at a disadvantage when facing the two supreme talents from the Shen Tu tribe and the dead tribe. In fact, he even has the upper hand. He's indeed handsome. I didn't expect him to be able to compete with Tu Jiangtong and the rest. Impressive. Some of the youths looked at the three of them and discussed softly. Some of the young girls looked at Mu Li Tianzi with stars in their eyes. He's a little high profile. Muri Yin-er had been watching Tianzi from below. When she saw this, she frowned slightly and commented, Hehe, it's a waste of youth if one isn't frivolous. Wang Xian smiled faintly and wasn't bothered at all. This was the temperament that a youth should have. Modest, confident, and proud. A talented youth naturally has to be more flamboyant. Muri Yin-er's father said with a smile, his face full of joy. Yin-er, you should go to the arena and learn from each other. The cataclysm is coming, and you have to improve your strength. Muri Yin-er's father said to her, let's see if we can get a good result. I'll give it a try, but I'm afraid it's going to be difficult. There are too many experts. Muri Yin-er replied. There were many supreme talents in the other arenas. In the supreme talents group, the stronger ones had already reached the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. She was still a long way off. However, she could still give it a try. Next, the Six Dao Conference officially began. The experts and disciples from the four groups began to fight for the top 1,000 spot. Chapter 4139, the grand competition in the Six Paths universe would last for a long time. In fact, the Six Paths Conference would last for millions of years. Battles between experts would usually take a long time to determine the winner. Moreover, all the experts, disciples, and supreme talents of the Six Paths universe would be participating in the competition. Naturally, it would take longer. Just to select 1,000 candidates would take more than 100,000 years. Besides, the most important thing was that after the top 1,000 were selected, the following competitions would not be held at the same time. For example, the Hidden Dragon and Fledgling Phoenix group would determine the top 500 first, followed by the Supreme Talents group. If they were not held at the same time, the time would naturally be longer. The experts of the various tribes used their energy to form a seat, and they sat there, watching and discussing. Battles between experts were also extremely useful for others to learn from. This was also one of the implications of the Six Paths Conference. Time passed day by day. Wang Xian watched from the lower seats. To Tianzi, it was a piece of cake for him to enter the top 1,000. He could even enter directly. After more than 100,000 years of selection, the official competition began. From the lowest to the highest, the top 500 would be decided from the Hidden Dragon and Fledgling Phoenix group. And this time, Tianzi also had to participate in a battle. Battles were very easy for Tianzi. In fact, when he entered the arena, his opponent immediately surrendered. It couldn't be helped. The difference in their levels was too great. After a duel, Tianzi relaxed and came to Wang Xian's side. Mom has entered the top 1,000 of the Supreme Talents group. I wonder if she can enter the top 500. After the top 500 of the Hidden Dragon and Fledgling Phoenix group, it was time for the Supreme Talents group. Muri Yin-er entered the top 1,000 and was about to start her first battle. It won't be a problem for your mother to enter the top 500. Wang Xian said to Tianzi. Muri Yin might not be very strong, but the Muri tribe could still be ranked in the top 50 among all the tribes. As for Muri Yin, she could be ranked in the top 3 of her generation in the Muri tribe. It wouldn't be a problem for the top 3 of the top 50 tribes to enter the top 500. Moreover, Wang Xian also sensed that it wouldn't be a problem for Muri Yin to enter the top 500. However, it would be more difficult to enter the top 300 from the top 500. It was basically impossible to enter the top 100. The elites and geniuses of the Profound Earth tribe and the Deceased tribe took up a large portion of their forces. There were also some other powerful tribes. Just as Wang Xian had expected, Muri Yin entered the top 500 with ease. Next was the battle between the Heavenlist group and the War God group. These two levels of competition were all universe ruler level powerhouses. After watching for a while, Tianzi and the others left. It couldn't be helped. He couldn't see their fighting moves at all. Unable to see through their energy, he was completely bewildered. Wang Xian played with Tianzi for a few days before returning to his room to rest. And in the following days, Tianzi made some friends. Perhaps it was because heroes appreciated each other, he became friends with Tu Jiangtong. There were also some young prodigies from other tribes. After all, the youths had a common language. Although Wang Xian wasn't very old, there was still a generation gap between Tianzi and Wang Xian. For the next period of time, Tianzi played with his friends. The competition continued. Time passed quickly. In the second round, Tianzi entered the top 300 with ease. Muri Yin barely made it into the top 300 even though she was injured. She probably could only make it this far. Found it. It's really troublesome to find a person at the water source. While the Six Dao conference was being held, at the location of the water source, Bai Kefu Saint and 6 other Sky Origin Creation Realm experts were hiding in a corner of the Muri tribe. Bai Kefu Saint frowned and revealed a faint smile. Last time, he only saw Tianzi's face. It was very difficult to find him among the tens of billions of people in the entire water source with just one face. Moreover, their luck wasn't very good. It took them more than 100,000 years to find him. We found him, but there's a huge problem now. That young man is now participating in the Six Dao Conference. The Six Dao Conference is a grand competition of the Six Dao universe. They are preparing for the cataclysm. The underground city where the Six Dao Conference is being held is the main city of the Xian-Tu tribe. The 3 Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the Six Dao universe should be watching over there. In addition, the Six Dao universe has been on guard against us for hundreds of millions of years because of our entry. The current underground city is definitely a tiger's den. We might be in great danger if we enter it. A Sky Origin Creation Realm expert frowned and said. Bai Kefu Saint fell into deep thought when he heard that. This was indeed a huge problem. A group of Sky Origin Creation Realm experts coveted the Six Dao universe's Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure. The Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the Six Dao universe naturally hated them to the core. They even formed a hunting team to track them down and hunt them down, especially now that the Six Dao's Cosmos was holding the Six Dao's convention. The location was the safest place in the entire cosmos. Now that they had entered this place, it was highly likely that they would be discovered and killed as soon as they passed. There's a way that we can try. After a long silence, Bai Kefu Saint looked at them and said, we can spread the news that the Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure is at the Desolate Plains and attract the Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the other universes there. This way, we can disperse some of the combat power at the underground city and the strength of the 3 Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the Six Dao universe. His suggestion made the other 6 Sky Origin Creation Realm experts frown slightly. Undue delay may bring trouble. This is the best way for now. Moreover, we are the only ones who know about the Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure. Our chances of success are very high. Bai Kefu Saint continued. Alright, let's do it your way. One of the Heavenly Origin Creation Realm experts nodded in agreement. For now, this was the best choice. They could attract the other Sky Origin Creation Realm experts to the Desolate Plains. They could take the opportunity to enter the underground city, Because they knew about the Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure, they had a huge advantage. The other Sky Origin Creation Realm experts were still like fishing for a needle in a haystack, but they had a clear goal. The group of 7 discussed for a while and quickly flew in a certain direction. Chapter 4140. There's news that the Heaven Origin Fortune treasure of the Six Paths universe is located in the plains. Is the news reliable? It's not very reliable. This was spread by a Heaven Origin Fortune Realm expert. He said that he sensed the existence of the Heaven Origin Fortune treasure, and that it is in the plains. Why would he spread this news? That Heaven Origin Fortune Realm expert did not hide anything. He said that the Six Paths universe is currently holding a Six Paths conference at the plains and the defense is very strong. If he went there alone, he would be discovered by the Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts of the Six Paths universe. That's why he used this method. Oh. What do you think the chances are? 50%. The Six Paths universe is holding the Six Daos meeting in the desolate plains. Perhaps, the Six Paths universe's experts have also sensed that the Heaven Origin Fortune treasure is in the desolate plains, so they purposely held the Six Daos meeting in the desolate plains to gather their forces to search for it. Furthermore, the Heaven Origin Fortune Realm expert who spread the news might have already known the location of the Heaven Origin Fortune treasure and wanted us to go there to share the power of the Six Paths universe. That's a possibility. Even if it's only 50%, we can't give up. We must go and take a look. Alright, I guess all the Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts in the Six Paths universe will head to the plains. It's been 100 million years, no one will give up this chance. At the same time, somewhere in the Six Paths universe, 2 Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts were having a discussion. After discussing for a while, they flew directly in the direction of the tundra. At the same time, in other parts of the Six Paths universe, many Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts also headed towards the plains. Almost 70 Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts gathered in the plains. A storm was gradually blowing towards the plains. Time passed day by day. The Six Paths conference continued. Now that the plains was the place where countless experts and disciples of the Six Paths universe gathered, its defense was naturally strong. Almost half of the top forces of the Six Paths universe were gathered here. Among them, 2 Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts had been guarding the skies above the plains. When the Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts entered the plains, they were immediately discovered by the experts of the Six Paths universe and the Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts. A war broke out. The Heaven Origin Fortune Realm experts could still hold their ground against the Six Paths universe's Peak Universe Lord Realm experts. Once they encountered the Six Paths universe's Qian Yuan, they could only run for their lives. The powerful defense of the Qian Yuan plane made some of the Fortune Realm experts speculate that the fortune treasure of heavenly origin might be here. This made them even more unwilling to give up on this place. This caused the entire plains to be stirred up. However, the changes on the plains did not cause any commotion in the underground city. Sky Origin Creation Realm experts had yet to set foot in the underground city. Currently, the underground city was the safest place in the entire plains. The competition continued. In the 4th round, 150 of the 300 contestants entered. In this battle, Tianzi still easily entered the top 150. However, in this competition, Mu Li Yin'er stopped at this battle. He was defeated by his opponent. Later on, when he challenged it, he was not able to succeed and was ultimately defeated. It's over, it's over. It seems like the first place of our young phoenix of Hidden Dragon group is going to go to you, Tianzi. You're too monstrous. You've fought me 3 times in a row, and I've lost all of them. In a sparring field in the underground city, a group of more than 30 youths stood on an arena. Among them, the 3-meter-tall, burly Tu Jiangtong stood in the middle, looking at the figure in front of him helplessly. In front of him was naturally Tianzi. Not far away, Gui San Qian was also looking at Tianzi with a frown. Then, he shook his head with a hint of helplessness on his face. Gui San Qian was the strongest among the youths of the dead tribe. When the 3 of them met for the first time, they appreciated each other and had a common topic to talk about, so they walked together. Hundreds of thousands of years had passed. Although they had participated in many competitions, they had never met each other. This made their hands itch. Some of them were young and impetuous, and none of them was willing to submit to the other. Therefore, they had come to duel privately. However, they had fought 3 times in a row, and Tianxi had won every time, completely suppressing Tu Jiangtong and Gui Sanqian. This made the two of them look helpless. Hehe, thank you for letting me win. Why don't you join forces next time? I'll see how far you can push me. Tianxi cupped his hands at him and said with a smile. Tianxi, are you looking down on us? How much of your strength did you use when you fought Tu Jiangtong just now? Gui Sanqian was speechless when he heard Tianxi's words and asked. 40%. Tianxi smiled faintly. 40%. Only 40%. Ever since I was born, my grandfather has been teaching me. You should know that my grandfather is a 9th Order Universe Sovereign Realm expert. Coupled with the treasures in my hands, I can even fight above my realm sometimes. How can I be weaker than you? Tu Jiangtong's eyes widened as he spoke. I also have an expert teaching me. I really don't know how a guy like you can be so monstrous. Gui Sanqian shook his head and said helplessly. He, you have experts teaching you, but I also have my foster father teaching me. My foster father is very powerful. Tianxi smiled faintly when he heard their words, and a proud look appeared on his face. What a joke! He knew that his foster father was an expert at the Heavenly Yuan creation stage. The Heaven Origin creation realm experts had always taught him, so how could he not be a match for them? In fact, if he were to display his true strength, he could scare them to death. Tianxi snickered in his heart. Amazing, Tianxi. You're really amazing. Looks like you're going to be our champion. At the side, a girl flew to Tianxi's side with eyes full of love, looking at him with a pair of bright eyes full of admiration. The girl was about 1.65 meters tall. She wasn't very tall, and her hair was tied up in a ponytail. She was filled with youthful cuteness. No. Who knows, some of us might be hiding our strength. Tianxi scratched his head and revealed a shy smile when he saw the girl. That's not fair. The prettiest Gongcheng Miao Miao actually likes this guy. Damn it, I'm a little envious. Tu Jiangtong's mouth twitched when he saw this scene. He was a little jealous. Big brother Tu Jiangtong, don't even think about it. My sister will never like you. Tianxi and my sister are a match made in heaven. They're a perfect match. At the side, a young man said with a smile. Chapter 41-41, Xiao don't talk nonsense. Gongcheng Miao Miao blushed when she heard her brother. She turned around and glared at him. Alright, I won't talk. The young man chuckled when he saw his sister scolding him. Sigh, I can't be envious. What a winner in life. Gui Sanqian looked at them and smiled. The first place this time should be Tianxi. He shouldn't be able to escape. Tianxi is really impressive, especially his swordsmanship. It's really terrifying. Even I felt chills down my spine when I watched from the side. The surrounding young men crowded over and commented to Tianxi with smiles. It's all thanks to my godfather. Tianxi replied with a smile. No, it's Tianxi who is talented. If it were someone else, they wouldn't be as impressive as you. Gongcheng Miao Miao bit her head. No, without my godfather, I wouldn't be here today. Tianxi looked at Gongcheng Miao Miao and shook his head seriously. My godfather watched me grow up and taught me many things. Oh, then your godfather must be really impressive. Gongcheng Miao Miao tilted her head and asked with a smile. Yes, I'll bring you to meet my godfather if there's a chance. Tianxi replied with a smile. Sure. Gongcheng Miao Miao replied with a smile. Let's find a chance then. Tianxi nodded. Alright. Stop showing off your love. Let's go. I'll bring you to a fun place in the underground city today. Tu Jiangtong said loudly. The group of them smiled and flew out. Time passed, day by day. Miss Muri Yin are you around? Wang Xian wandered around the underground city for a long time and sat in his room feeling bored. On this day, a voice suddenly came from outside the cave. Wang Xian didn't pay much attention to the voice. Wang, But at this time, he received a message from Tianzi. Seeing this information, a smile appeared on his face. He stood up and walked out. I'm sorry, I don't have time. Miss Muri Yin you have rejected me 10 times. You can't reject me anymore. Let's just have a simple meal. That's right, Yin It's not a big deal to have a meal. Moreover, we'll be with you. When Wang Xian walked out, he immediately saw a burly young man conversing with 3 girls. Among them was Muri Yin Wang Xian took a glance, nodded to Muri Yin and continued walking out. When he arrived at a restaurant that Tianzi had informed him about, he walked over to a private room on the top floor. Foster father. Just as they arrived at the door, Tianzi opened the door and shouted at Wang Xian with a smile. Yes. Seeing Tianzi's reaction, Wang Xian nodded his head with a smile and looked inside. Hello, uncle. Inside, Gongcheng Miao Miao lowered her head slightly. However, she looked up and shouted at Wang Xian shyly. Hehe, kid, you have a good eye. Wang Xian took a look at Gongcheng Miao Miao, patted him on the shoulder and walked in. Hehe, adoptive father, let me introduce to you. This is Miao Miao, Gongcheng Miao Miao, also from our water source, the Johhe tribe. Miao Miao, this is my godfather that I told you about. Tianzi introduced Wang Xian and the rest. Miss, you're right. Apart from this meeting, I don't have anything else. Just a simple protective talisman. Wang Xian looked at Gongcheng. With a wave of his arm, an amulet floated in front of her. Thank you, uncle. Gongcheng Miao Miao quickly sensed it but did not put it away immediately. Instead, he looked at Tianzi. Take it. Godfather treats me very well. Tianzi squinted at Gongcheng and smiled. Why don't you call your mother over? Wang Xian sat down and asked Tianzi with a smile. Hehe, foster father, since I don't dare to tell my mother, I'll tell you first. Tianzi giggled. Wang Xian chuckled. He looked at Gongcheng and sensed for a while. With the strength of a level 4 universe venerable, Gongcheng Mian Miao was considered one of the top geniuses of his generation. Wang Xian was very satisfied with her sweet and pretty look. In addition, the Johhe tribe was also a big tribe, much more powerful than the Muli tribe. Although the Johhe tribe didn't have a divine origin creation realm powerhouse. But at the water source, the Johhe tribe was the strongest existence. Among all the tribes, it could be ranked in the top 5. There were many pinnacle universe lords in the tribe. Tianzi had a girlfriend, which made Wang Xian very happy as an old father. It was not a bad idea to take advantage of the time he had now to enjoy himself. Wang Xian had a meal with them. After chatting for a few hours, he left. There was still a generation gap with the younger generation. Wang Xian continued his peaceful life. Occasionally, he would watch Tianzi's matches. But he remained in his room. As for Tianzi's match, it was time for the top 10. On this day, Tianzi's match had just ended. Wang Xian stayed in his room and practiced Tianyuan swordsmanship. He was helping the void divine dragon body to comprehend. Foster father, foster father. Suddenly, an extremely anxious voice came from outside. Wang Xian opened his eyes and revealed a shocked expression. He waved his arm and opened the door. Outside the door, Tianzi was extremely anxious and his eyes were a little red. Foster father, my mother is injured. She's seriously injured. Tianzi said to Wang Xian in panic. His voice was a little choked. What's the situation? Wang Xian focused his eyes and asked Tianzi. Muri Yin had been eliminated from the competition. In the underground city, fighting and killing were prohibited. How could Muri Yin be injured? I don't know the exact situation. My mother's injuries are very serious. Foster father, come and take a look at her. Tianzi pulled Wang Xian's arm and said anxiously, It's okay. Don't worry. I'm here. Wang Xian patted Tianzi's arm and said to him, Okay. Tianzi nodded. He knew his foster father's identity and some of his means. As long as she wasn't completely destroyed, she could be treated. Wang Xian followed Tianzi to a room not far away. In the room, Muri Yin parents and brothers were all inside. Grandpa, let me take a look at my mother. Let me take a look at her. Tianci led Wang Xian into the room and said loudly to his grandpa, "Okay." At this moment, Tianci's grandpa nodded with a gloomy face before the bed. Although her injuries are a little serious, it's not life-threatening. Tianci's grandpa glanced at Wang Xian and said, "Let me treat her." Wang Xian nodded. He walked to the bed and sensed Muri Yin-er's injuries. Chapter 41-42, Wang. Wang Xian sat beside Muri Yin-er's bed and placed his palm on her body. Energy flowed into her body and healed her internal injuries. Muri Yin-er's injuries were so severe that her life was in danger. However, Muri Yin-er's father was a fifth-order universe lord. He had saved her life with his energy. As long as Muri Yin-er was still alive, the treatment would be much easier. Muri Yin-er's injuries were recovering at a terrifying speed. Her vitality was also getting stronger. Before long, her internal injuries were completely healed. With Wang Xian's strength, it was a piece of cake for him to heal a universe lord. "Godfather, is she all right?" Tianci asked anxiously when he saw Wang Xian retract his arm. "She's fine now. Don't worry." Wang Xian patted his shoulder and stood up. "Huh." Muri Yin-er's eyebrows twitched and her face was rosy again. She looked at the people around her and quickly sat up. "Mother, are you all right?" Tianci asked with concern. "I'm fine. My injuries have all disappeared." Muri Yin-er shook her head and looked at Wang Xian. "Thank you, Mr. Wang Xian, for your treatment. It's just a small problem." Wang Xian shook his head. "Your injuries are very serious. The other party wanted to cripple you completely. Fighting and killing are prohibited in the underground city." "I don't know," Wang Xian asked. Muri Yin-er's father and brother stared at him angrily. They had sensed Muri Yin-er's injuries just now. It was very serious. It could be said that she was on her last breath. Moreover, Muri Yin-er was sent here by someone. They didn't know the exact situation. "I was in a duel with someone in the arena. That's why I'm so badly injured." Muri Yin-er sat up and her expression changed. "Yin-er, who did you duel with? Why did you duel with someone?" Muri Yin-er's mother asked quickly. "Mother, it's someone from the Xuantu tribe." Muri Yin-er whispered. "Little sister, you're talking about Liao Feiyu. That guy has been pestering you every day. Now he even injured you. This is outrageous." One of Muri Yin-er's brothers said angrily. "It's not him. It's his sister. Forget it." Mu Li Yin-er shook her head and said, "Mom, we can't just let it go like this. They actually dared to hit you. I want to seek justice for you." Tianci, who was standing aside, said angrily, "Forget it. This is a duel in the arena, and the opponent is the profound Earth tribe." Muri Yin-er shook her head at him and looked at her parents and brother. "Mom, Dad, I don't have anything to do now. Let's just forget about it." Muri Yin-er's father's expression changed. "Tianci, I'm fine. Train hard and try to get first place." Mu Li Yin-er stood up and patted Tianci's head. "Okay, Mom." Tianci saw that his mother didn't want to tell him anything, so he could only nod helplessly. "Let's go and let your mother rest for a while." Wang Xian patted Tianci as he spoke to him. Tianci nodded his head and left with Wang Xian. "Godfather, we can't just let the matter of my mother go like this." Tianci looked at Wang Xian with determination in his eyes as he walked out of the room. "Of course we can't just let it go like this." Wang Xian looked at him and continued, "Your mother was severely injured by someone. Naturally, we have to seek revenge. Not only that, we have to make them pay a terrible price. Do you still remember what I told you before? We don't offend others. But if someone offends us or our kin, we have to make them pay 100 times the price." Tianci clenched his fists and continued. "That's right." Wang Xian nodded his head. "I've already sent Qilin Bul to investigate this matter. There will be news soon." "Thank you, Godfather." Tianci thanked Wang Xian gratefully. "You're welcome. We don't have many peaceful days left." Wang Xian looked at him and said. Tianci was taken aback when he heard Wang Xian. He looked at Wang Xian with doubts. "Qilin Bul is back. Let's go to my room." Wang Xian didn't tell Tianxi the details of the situation as he led him to his room. Although Wang Xian and the rest had been staying in the Earth City, he still had some understanding of the situation outside. In particular, Wang Xian had received a piece of news previously. The news came from other Sky Yuan Creation Realm experts in the Nine-Source universe. In the group chat of other Sky Yuan Creation Realm experts, they were discussing the Six Paths universe's Sky Yuan Creation Realm treasure. Now, there was news that the Sky Yuan Creation Realm treasure was located in the plains of the Six Paths universe. After Wang Xian received this news, he had some guesses. This news must have been spread by that radiant Sky Yuan Creation Realm expert. As for the motive, it was probably Tianxi. Therefore, Tianxi didn't have many peaceful days left. It wouldn't be long before he was completely exposed. Boss. When they entered the room, Qilin Bull was already waiting there. What's the exact situation? Wang Xian asked. Boss, it's like this. Recently, a young man named Liao Feiyu from the Black Earth tribe has fallen in love with Tianxi's mother. However, his mother has rejected him many times. Liao Feiyu's sister got wind of this news. His sister also knew about Tianxi's mother's identity and situation. Because she was very dissatisfied with him, she caused trouble twice. This time, she even provoked him into the arena and severely injured him. Qilin Bull reported. A genius young man from the Black Earth tribe had taken a fancy to Muri Yin-er. However, he was rejected by Muri Yin-er. After being discovered by his sister and learning about Muri Yin-er's identity and situation, she was very displeased. She scolded Muri Yin-er for not being worthy of her brother. Therefore, she taught Muri Yin-er a lesson and severely injured her. My mother clearly didn't provoke them at all. How could they be so overboard? Tianxi was enraged when he heard this. He shouted with a cold expression. Liao Feiyu's elder sister is called Liao Feiyan. They are both top rankers in the Six Dao Convention's chosen group. Currently, they are in the top 10. Both of them are at the peak of the universe supremacy realm. Qilin Bull continued. When Wang Xian heard the details, he nodded his head slightly. Pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm? Tianxi's eyes narrowed when he heard this. Other than that, the Black Earth tribe is divided into 4 major clans. The Liao clan is one of them. Their elders are also experts in the Liao clan. They have great authority, Qilin Bull added. Chapter 41-43, Godfather, do you want me to sneak an attack on them? Tianxi looked at Wang Xian when he heard Qilin Bull. The enemy who bullied his mother was stronger than Tianxi. Unless Tianxi could remove the seal in his body. However, even if he got rid of it, he would be able to defeat and even kill his mother's enemies. However, the Black Earth tribe would definitely take revenge and punish him. What would he do then? Therefore, if he wanted to take revenge, he would have to do it secretly. On the surface, he wasn't qualified. At least not if his godfather didn't do anything. Your mother was bullied. As her son, I naturally have to take action personally. This is your responsibility and the spirit of a man. However, if your identity is exposed later, your life will be more peaceful. Wang Xian looked at him and said, Godfather, my mother gave birth to me and raised me. She's the closest person to me and someone I'll protect for life. Now that she's injured, I'll avenge my mother even if my life isn't peaceful in the future. Tianxi looked at Wang Xian and said firmly, I also want you to lead an ordinary life. Wang Xian looked at him and said plainly, once your identity is exposed, you will have to leave this place with me. Leave the Six Paths universe and go to another universe. If that's the case, your life will be greatly affected. You are still young and have yet to see some of the sights of life. Godfather doesn't wish for you to grow up too quickly. After watching Tianxi grow up for nearly 100 million years, he had already treated him as his own son. Although parents hoped that their son could grow up as soon as possible, but parents hoped that their son could grow up happily every day. They couldn't possibly let him follow him into the chaos to search for treasures before he could enjoy too much prosperity, right? Let him live in the chaos for hundreds of millions of years in an instant. As parents, they naturally didn't want their children to live such a life. Especially when they were young. Then, Godfather, what should I do? Tianci asked as he looked at Wang Xian. We don't have much time. Delay as much as you can. I also have some things to check out. Next, I'll raise your water attribute strength to the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. At that time, you can take revenge in the same way you did in the arena. Wang Xian said to Tianci. Godfather, you can raise my strength to the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm? When Tianci heard Wang Xian, he widened his eyes in disbelief. Of course I can, especially since your wood attribute has already reached the fourth order universe sovereign realm. With your wood attribute as a foundation, I can even help you raise it to the fourth order universe sovereign realm. Of course, this is because I also possess the wood attribute. If other divine origin creation realm experts want to forcefully raise someone's cultivation, they would need to possess this attribute, said Wang Xian to Tianci. Then, I've only reached the fifth order universe venerable realm after cultivating so hard for such a long time. If I have your help, doesn't that mean I don't need to cultivate and my realm will rise directly? Tianci said speechlessly. Sure, but this kind of life will not be complete. Wang Xian chuckled and said, you still have to cultivate when you should. All right, foster father, you're doing this for my own good. Whatever you say. Tianci's expression changed, and he said helplessly. Next, I'll help you raise your strength to the peak of the universe supremacy realm, so that you have the strength to take revenge. As for the arena challenge, if you can drag it out for as long as you can. Wang Xian said to him for the last time. Subsequently, he placed his palm on Tianci's body, and a majestic wave of water attribute energy entered his body. Tianci's aura was rising rapidly. Divine origin creation realm experts could help the weak break through forcefully. All divine origin creation realm experts could do it. In the nine-source universe, if a peak of the universe supremacy realm expert was stuck in the same realm, a divine origin creation realm expert could help him break through easily. Of course, helping him break through the shackles would still consume some energy, and this consumption would need to be replenished by his own cultivation. Even divine origin creation realm experts would not do such things often. However, Wang Xian now had the progenitor tree, and his recovery speed was terrifying. Although it would still consume energy to help the weak break through the shackles, it would be much faster and simpler to recover. When the energy surged into Tianci's body, his realm began to rise rapidly. In particular, his wood attribute had already reached the fourth order universe sovereign realm. Therefore, it was very easy for him to absorb and accept the energy. In just a few hours, Tianci's strength had reached the peak of the universe supremacy realm. This speed of improvement could be described as terrifying. Alright, with the strength of the peak of the universe supremacy realm, you can basically be invincible below the universe sovereign realm. Wang Xian said to Tianci, as for how you are going to avenge your mother, you can decide for yourself. Thank you, Godfather. You are simply too good to me. Thank you, Godfather. Tianci could feel the energy in his body, and he couldn't help but grin excitedly at Wang Xian. Wang Xian patted his head and gestured for him to go about his business. Tianci walked out of the room, his eyes sparkling as he pondered about how he was going to avenge his mother. This matter was no small matter to any child. If not for his godfather being around, if not for his godfather being an expert, if not for his mother, it would probably take hundreds of millions of years for her to recover completely. After all, the Muley tribe couldn't possibly consume a large amount of treasures to treat a disciple at the universe supremacy realm. With such heavy injuries, one could imagine how ruthless the other party was. He was completely intent on crippling the other party. Fortunately, his godfather was around. If not, what else could he, Tianci, do? But now that he had the strength and his godfather behind him, he would make the guy who hurt his mother pay 100 times the price. Liao Feiyan, Liao Feiyu. Tianci murmured coldly. He moved and immediately flew towards the arena. The competition for the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group had just ended. And the ongoing competition was for the Outstanding Talents group. Liao Feiyan and Liao Feiyu were currently at the arena. The other party had hurt his mother in the arena. Then he would return the favor. Seems like I'm going back soon. In the room, Wang Xian's gaze penetrated the wall and looked at Tianci's figure. If Tianci was lucky this time, He might be able to hide for hundreds of thousands of years. If he was unlucky, he would be exposed. So be it. I'm here. Wang Xian chuckled and stood up. Chapter 41-44. The last spot for the top 10 of the Outstanding Talents group is about to be revealed. It's about to be revealed. It's obvious that Kong Chunyu is much stronger. She's suppressing him in all aspects. Kong Chunyu from the deceased tribe is still strong. I feel that he's the strongest in the Outstanding Talents group. After all, he can summon 3 corpses of pinnacle universe supremacies for battle. Together with his own strength, it's 4 against 1. The disciples with the deceased attribute are all very strong. Summoning corpses for battle can totally outnumber him. If I'm not wrong, Kong Chunyu will be in first place. The second place should also be from the deceased tribe. As the Six Dao conference continued, countless experts and disciples from the surrounding Six Dao cosmos were watching. Basically, the Prodigy group and the Heavenlist group were the 2 groups with the most viewership and discussion. The disciples in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group were weaker and younger. Hence, they received less attention. As for the War God group, 99% of the experts and disciples couldn't see their battles. In other words, when 2 experts were fighting, most of the disciples couldn't see their moves and couldn't tell who was stronger. Only in the Outstanding Talents group, most of the disciples could understand and participate in the discussion. Swish swish. Tian Ci flew over from his residence and looked at the arena with sparkling eyes. He looked around and finally fixed his eyes on the seat of honor. He stared at a young man and then the girl beside him. His eyes revealed a cold look. Liao Feiyan. He gritted his teeth and spat out 3 words. Tian Ci stood there quietly, waiting for the battle to end in the arena. Not far behind Tian Ci, Wang Xian's figure gradually appeared. He condensed into a chair and sat there with a calm look. He looked at everything with indifference. The battle in the arena didn't take long to end. Kong Chunyu had won the battle easily. The selection of the top 10 of the Outstanding Talents group had also entered the final stage. All top 10 of the Outstanding Talents group, please come to the arena. Now, if there's anyone who isn't convinced, you can challenge them. As long as you succeed, you'll be in the top 10. An old man hovered above the arena and spoke to all the disciples. This was the rule of the Six Dao Conference. As long as one was strong enough, even if the top 10 had already been selected, one could still challenge them. Once the challenge was successful, one could take their place. There weren't many such challenges, but they weren't few either. Hearing the old man's words, Tianxi's calm eyes emitted a cold luster. He had been waiting for this moment. Whoosh! I want to challenge. As soon as the old man's voice fell, Tianxi's body moved and he directly flew towards the arena. He landed in front of the arena and glared at Liao Feiyan with a murderous look in his eyes. Tian Ci's sudden flight and challenge caused everyone in the surroundings to be taken aback. Their faces were filled with astonishment. What's going on? Who is that person? That's Mu Li Tianci from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group. He's known as the strongest youth in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group. He's extremely talented. What's going on? What is he doing? He wants to challenge us. Why would he participate in the Prodigy group's battle? He's only a 5th order universe venerable, but the top 10 of the chosen group are all pinnacle venerables. What is Mu Li Tianci doing? It's Tianci. What is he trying to do? When all the experts and disciples in the surroundings saw Tianci suddenly flying over, their faces were filled with astonishment and shock. Even the old man on the arena and the top 10 disciples of the chosen group looked at Tianci in astonishment. However, Liao Feiyan's eyes turned cold when she saw the murderous look in Mu Li Tianci's eyes. She looked embarrassed. Mu Li Tianci, Liao Feiyan, my mother didn't offend you, but you injured her severely. I want to challenge you to a duel, dead or alive. The old man on the arena knew who Tianci was. He frowned and said. However, before he could finish his sentence, Tianci's cold voice was heard. His words once again caused everyone to be slightly stunned. This is Mu Li Tianci's mother? Mu Li Tianci's mother is also a member of the chosen group, but she has been eliminated. What's going on? I don't know, But Mu Li Tianxi wants to have a life-and-death duel with Liao Feiyan? Isn't he courting death? The surrounding experts and disciples were shocked and gossipy when they saw the sudden turn of events. Humph, a reckless guy dares to challenge me. You're not qualified. Get out. Liao Feiyan looked at Tianxi and said coldly, Mu Li Tianxi, this is the six-path competition. Don't mess around. Get out. The old man on the arena frowned and warned Tianxi. Tianxi, get down now. Tianxi, get down. Some elders and disciples of the Muri tribe were also there. When they saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically and they hurriedly shouted at Tianxi. Now that Tianxi was shining brightly in the six-path competition, it would be a great loss to the Mu Li tribe if anything happened to him. Head judge, the rules of the six-path competition didn't say that I can't challenge the members of the chosen group. Since I chose to challenge them, I will bear the consequences myself. Mu Li Tianxi looked at the old man and said, Are you sure you want to bear the consequences yourself? If you want to bear the consequences, it's up to you. It's good to be young and aggressive, but you have to consider your own strength. The old man looked at Tianxi and reminded him calmly. In his opinion, a disciple of the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group challenging the top 10 of the chosen group was a suicidal act. His simple reminder was also a sign of benevolence. If Tianxi really dared to challenge them recklessly, he wouldn't be able to go far, no matter how talented he was. There were many disciples of the chosen group, but only those who could make it to the end could be considered true geniuses. Liao Feiyan, get out here. Tianxi nodded when he heard the old man's words. His eyes were filled with cold murderous intent as he glared at Liao Feiyan. At the front, Liao Feiyan looked at Tianxi with an embarrassed and cold expression. She hadn't expected that a puny guy from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group would dare to challenge her. She hadn't expected that the son of the girl whom she had beaten up would dare to challenge her. Reckless bastard, your mother shamelessly seduced my younger brother. Now, a bastard like you still has the cheek to seek revenge on me? Ha ha. Liao Feiyan glared at Tianxi as she took a few steps forward. Nonsense. It was Liao Feiyu who pestered my mother. You are trying to invert right and wrong. You deserve to die. Tianxi's eyes reddened when he heard her words. He gritted his teeth and bellowed. Chapter 41-45. Liao Feiyan's words had completely ignited Tianxi's anger. It was Liao Feiyu who was pestering his mother, but now she was saying that it was his mother who was pestering his brother. His heart was burning with anger, and his eyes were filled with coldness. Oh! The top 10 disciples of the Sky Pride group who were standing around Liao Feiyan raised their eyebrows. They moved and flew out of the arena. Liao Feiyu's face was pale and his expression kept changing. There seems to be some gossip. Liao Feiyu? What's going on? And why did Liao Feiyan call Mu Li Tianxi a bastard? In the surroundings, all the experts and disciples of the tribes watched this scene, their eyes filled with confusion and curiosity. Gossip was always attractive no matter where it was. I need to confuse right and wrong. A bastard without a father. I will give you 1 second to disappear from my sight. Otherwise, don't blame me for bullying you. Liao Feiyan stared at Tianxi disdainfully and said coldly. Tianxi's body trembled slightly when he heard her vicious word. He slowly raised his head, and a water elemental sword appeared in his hand. He stared at Liao Feiyan, his eyes filled with violent murderous intent. Swoosh! The next moment, he charged at Liao Feiyan without any hesitation. Courting death. A kid with less than 100 million years of cultivation dares to challenge Sister Feiyan? He must be tired of living. This kid named Mu Li Tianxi is really tired of living. He thinks he is strong in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, so he wants to challenge the experts in the Sky Pride group? Is this kid a bastard without a father? Interesting. It seems that Liao Feiyu would not pester a woman with a child. Of course. Liao Feiyu is the top Sky Pride of our Six Paths universe. Why would he pursue such a woman? The woman must have tried to seduce Liao Feiyu, but Liao Feiyan found out. How dare a kid challenge a disciple of our Xian-Tu tribe? The moment Tianxi made his move, the experts and disciples of the other tribes began to discuss among themselves. especially the experts and disciples of the Xian-Tu tribe. They watched this scene coldly and disdainfully. How dare a disciple of a small tribe challenge an elite of the Xian-Tu tribe? He must be tired of living. Oh no. When the elders and disciples of the Muley tribe saw this scene, their expressions changed greatly. They glanced at the arena with worried faces and quickly looked around. Mr. Wang Xian, Tianzi, an elder flew to Wang Xian's side anxiously and spoke to him. Don't worry. Wang Xian waved his hand and interrupted him. He looked at everything calmly. But the elder of the Muley tribe opened his mouth, and his face was extremely embarrassed. It wasn't easy for their Muley tribe to have such a stunning disciple. If something were to happen to him, it would be a huge loss for their Muley tribe. Boom. However, at this moment, a loud explosion suddenly sounded from the arena. The elder of the Muley tribe hurriedly looked forward. All the surrounding disciples were also staring at the arena. What? How is this possible? However, in the next moment, incomparably shocked exclamations rang out from the surroundings. In the seats of honor, the experts and disciples of the Xian-Tu tribe and the deceased tribe watched this scene in shock. How could this be possible? Tianzi stood in the center of the arena. In front of him was a headless corpse. Her head was a short distance away from him. At this moment, the corpse's eyes were still wide open, filled with disbelief. At this moment, Liao Feiyan couldn't react at all. After Tianzi made his move, she still had a contemptuous attitude. It was only when she sensed that Tianzi's speed had exceeded her expectations that she reacted. However, it was too late. Tianzi's strength was currently at the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. As for his actual strength, he had already reached the fourth order universe sovereign realm. He possessed reaction and senses that far exceeded those at the same level. Under such circumstances, he still had the sword technique that Wang Xian had taught him. Tianyuan sword technique. The most elite sword technique in the universe. In addition, he had Wang Xian's guidance over the past 100 million years. Tianzi himself possessed the strength to be unrivaled among those at the same level. Now that Liao Feiyan had underestimated her opponent, she couldn't react at all. Hence, this was the outcome today. Swish. While everyone was in a state of shock, the referee was also in a state of shock. Tianzi waved the sharp sword in his hand and slashed at Liao Feiyan's head and body again. Pinnacle Universe Venerables, if their heads were taken, they wouldn't die immediately. In the arena, the act of killing one's opponent was not allowed. Otherwise, he would be severely punished. However, Tianzi didn't plan to kill them all. But even if he didn't destroy them, he would still make them pay a terrible price. With a sweep of the sharp sword, Liao Feiyan's corpse was instantly obliterated, turning into flesh and blood without the slightest trace of life. The sword light swept across her head. Her eyes, tongue, ears, as well as most of her vitality, were all obliterated. There was only a trace of life force in it. If Muri Yin'er's injuries needed hundreds of millions of years to recover, or even a lifetime to recover, then Muri Yin'er would not be able to recover. Liao Feiyan's injuries, on the other hand, could not be healed without a top-grade treasure or a heavenly origin creation stage expert. His injuries were 10 times more serious. This was the heaven-sent revenge. And this was just the beginning. Tianzi decided that if there was a chance, if he could really step into the heavenly origin creation stage, he would come back again. He would come back to take her life personally. He could be humiliated, but his mother could not be harmed. His mother and adoptive father were people he would not allow anyone to harm in his life. Stop. The old referee's expression changed when he saw this. He widened his eyes and looked at Tianzi in disbelief. He instantly landed in front of Liao Feiyan's remaining head and protected it with a wave of energy. When he sensed it, his expression darkened. There was only a sliver of life left. If he didn't treat her, she would die soon. Senior referee, I won. I was a bit heavy-handed. I'm sorry, but I didn't kill her completely. I'm still young and rash. Tianzi looked at Liao Feiyan's head, then his gaze fell on the old referee. He bowed to him and spoke. Tianzi also knew that he couldn't kill her now. Whether it was because of his adoptive father or the Muley tribe, he couldn't kill her. But he was already very satisfied with this result. Chapter 41-46, SSS, this. Dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded by the sudden battle in the arena. Their faces were filled with shock and disbelief as they looked at Tianzi, who was standing in the ring. What did they see? What did they see? A young man from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, a young man who had cultivated for less than 100 million years, had defeated Liao Feiyan, who was in the top 10 of the Prodigy group. And it was an instant kill. Liao Feiyan was a peak universe supremacy expert. A peak universe supremacy expert, the top genius of the Six Paths universe. Although Mu Li Tianzi was ranked top in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, there was still a huge gap between them. Even the strongest young man in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group was only a fifth-order universe supremacy. And now, Mu Li Tianzi had defeated Liao Feiyan in an instant. How is this possible? How is this possible? How could Mu Li Tianzi possess such terrifying strength? How long has he been cultivating? He defeated Liao Feiyan in an instant. The strength he displayed just now? Such strength at such a young age. Is this real? This can't be real, right? He must have used some kind of treasure. This can't be real, right? All the experts and disciples around the arena were in an uproar. They were all in disbelief. In the entire history of the Six Paths universe, no one could possess such terrifying strength at such a young age. This was completely heaven-defying. Sister. Liao Feiyu was in a daze when he saw this. When he regained his senses, he immediately flew towards Liao Feiyan and stared at the head that was hanging by a thread. The experts and disciples of the Liao family, who were seated at the upper seats of the Shen Earth tribe, were shocked when they saw this. The scene in front of them was beyond everyone's expectations. A young man from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group had defeated the top 10 disciples of the Prodigy group in an instant. This was unimaginable. Most importantly, Liao Feiyan was an elite disciple of the Shen Earth tribe. This was like a slap to the face of the Shen Earth tribe. You are courting death. Liao Feiyu looked at his serious sister, and his expression changed. He stared at Tianzi and shouted in a low voice, I am courting death. Liao Feiyu, you harassed my mother some time ago. Then, your sister scolded my mother and brought her to the arena, severely injuring her. Now, you accuse my mother of harassing you. He even insulted my mother and me. For a vicious woman like your sister, this kind of ending is still considered light. Despicable bastards like you will have to pay the price. What? You want to avenge your sister? Fine, we'll decide the victor in the arena. However, even if you don't challenge me, I'll challenge you. I'll make you pay the price. Hearing Liao Feiyu's words, Tianzi stared at him coldly. Earlier, Liao Feiyan had insulted him and his mother, causing Tianzi's heart to be filled with rage. Looking at Liao Feiyu, his eyes were filled with killing intent. Come, if you're still a man, let's have a duel. Tianzi stared at Liao Feiyu and continued to speak. Liao Feiyu's expression changed drastically when he heard Tianzi's words. He was stronger than his sister, but there was a limit to his strength. Now that his sister was instantly killed, it would be difficult for him to be Tianzi's opponent. Once he was defeated, with Muri Tianzi's attack just now, he would definitely be severely injured. What? Your sister is severely injured, and you and I are at the same level, yet you don't dare to accept the challenge? Ha ha ha, so this is the Shen Tu tribe's genius? This is the top 10 disciple of the Six Paths Universe's genius group. He doesn't even dare to accept the challenge. What a coward. A coward like you dares to pester my mother? Useless thing. Seeing that Liao Feiyu did not respond, Tianzi sneered coldly. His face was full of disdain. Today, he must make Liao Feiyu pay the price. Today, he would fight even if he didn't want to. Damn, he's forcing Liao Feiyu to accept the challenge. Who asked Muri Tianzi to be so young? And this time, he's avenging his mother. If Liao Feiyu doesn't accept the challenge, he'll be humiliated. How does Muri Tianzi cultivate? How can he be so strong? Now, Liao Feiyu is embarrassed. If he's really pestering Muri Tianzi's mother, then he'll be even more shameless. When the experts and disciples of the surrounding tribes saw Tianxi's domineering manner, they were shocked. Who would have thought that this would happen? Who would have thought that Muri Tianxi would hide his strength? Muri Tianxi, the dignity of our Xian Tu tribe is not to be challenged. A Xian Earth tribe universe ruler realm expert frowned as he looked at Tianxi and said coldly, "I'm not challenging the dignity of the Xian Tu tribe. Brother Jiang Tong and the others are good people. But when a tribe is big, there will always be scum and trash. The Xian Tu tribe can investigate my mother's matter. If it's because of my mother, I'm willing to punish her. But if it's because of them, will the Xian Tu tribe deal with it fairly?" Tianxi looked at the Xian Tu tribe universe lord realm expert and replied calmly, neither servile nor overbearing. When the Xian Tu tribe's universe ruler realm expert heard his words, he raised his brows slightly. He was a little surprised at Tianxi's courage. Neither servile nor overbearing. Purposely hiding his strength and keeping a low profile. If nothing goes wrong, this Muri Tianxi will definitely become an expert in the future. Indeed, if it wasn't for his mother, he wouldn't have exposed his strength. The surrounding experts looked at Muri Tianxi, who was standing proudly on the arena, and commented softly, "Our Xian Tu tribe is not a tribe that oppresses others with force. Since you have a grudge, settle it on the arena. Life and death are not a concern." Suddenly, an old man in the seat of honor of the profound Earth tribe coldly looked at all of this and said. His words made Liao Feiyu's eyes narrow. "All right, thank you, Lord Xian Tu tribe, for being fair." Tianxi's eyes narrowed as he cupped his hands and said loudly, "Feiyu, bring your sister's body over and prepare for battle. Settle the grudge between you two on the arena." Another old man, who was sitting in front of the Xian Earth tribe's seat, said indifferently, "Yes." Liao Feiyu's face darkened as he carried his sister's head and flew over. "Grandpa, Liao Feiyu arrived in front of the old man and opened his mouth to speak. "The dignity of the Xian Tu tribe cannot be challenged. Our Liao tribe cannot be provoked by a reckless brat. Kill him." The old man in front of him sent a voice transmission to him. Chapter 41-47, Grandpa, he's very strong. When Liao Feiyu heard his grandfather's words, he replied with an ugly expression. Based on the strength that Mu Li Tianxi had just displayed, he might not be his match. "Kill him, go." The old man looked at his grandson and frowned slightly, patting his shoulder as he spoke. At the same time, a blood-red light entered Liao Feiyu's body from his palm. Liao Feiyu instantly felt a majestic energy enter his body. Following which, he saw a yellow earth hammer enter his bloodstream. The earth hammer contained a powerful might. As though it was about to burst his body, he could feel an endless stream of energy coming from the earth hammer. Feeling the energy in his body, his eyes lit up. This was the Liao clan's bloodline weapon. The so-called bloodline weapon, as the name suggested, was a weapon that could only be used by the Liao clan bloodline. In their Liao clan, there were merely over a dozen of these weapons. Each one was in the hands of the peak experts of the Liao clan. Liao Feiyu's grandfather was an expert of the Xian Earth tribe's Liao clan, a universe lord realm expert. He had hopes of reaching the peak universe lord realm in the future. Because this weapon was a bloodline weapon, as a Liao clan bloodline, he did not need to nourish it and could use it directly. Even if he could only borrow a strand of energy, it was enough. A powerful bloodline weapon could even allow him to fight against a universe lord realm existence. With this weapon, he was 100% sure that he could eliminate that arrogant and egotistical kid. Go. In the surroundings, a few Xian Earth tribe's Liao clan experts looked at Liao Feiyu and spoke faintly. "Grandpa, I will definitely eliminate this fella that dared to hurt my sister. Kill him and let him know the consequences of looking down on our Xian Earth tribe." Liao Feiyu's face was filled with killing intent as he spoke. At the side, a few peak universe lord realm experts from the Xian Earth tribe felt this and revealed a faint smile. Although Mu Li Tianxi's talent was monstrous. However, anyone that dared to hurt a top genius of the Xian Earth tribe would have to pay a heavy price. The Xian Earth tribe was very protective. It had been a long time since someone dared to provoke them. So what if he was a genius, a monster? It was still the same sentence. All geniuses that had yet to mature were weaklings. They didn't need to care. At this moment, at the side of the arena, Wang Xian sat on a chair and looked in the direction of the Xuantu tribe. He raised his eyebrows slightly and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Wang Xian saw everything that they did. Although Liao Feiyu's grandfather's movements were extremely secretive, to the point that apart from the Xian Earth tribe's experts who were closest to him, no other experts had noticed it. However, none of this could be hidden from Wang Xian. A powerful weapon had suddenly appeared in his body. You want to kill Tianxi? Humph, do you really think that you are the only one with a trump card and a backer? Wang Xian murmured softly. A book appeared beneath his feet. The book turned into a stream of water and disappeared. At the same time, Tianxi, who was in the arena, suddenly felt a surge of energy entering his body. Those fellows wanted to cheat and gave him a powerful weapon. It seems like they want to use their trump card and backer to suppress you, Tianxi. Feel this book. The treasure in your body has my aura, so the book will accept you. Tianxi, you can use the energy in the book. If they want to kill you, kill Liao Feiyu directly. I want to see how shameless the Xuantu tribe can be. Subsequently, Tianxi heard Wang Xian's voice transmission. When he heard the news, Tianxi's expression changed slightly. Just now, the experts from the Xuantu tribe had said that they wouldn't use their power to suppress others. He had thought that they were being fair. In the end, they secretly gave Liao Feiyu a powerful treasure to kill him. This was the Xuantu tribe. This was justice. Tianxi's eyes turned colder and colder. If not for his godfather, what could he do? Expose his wood-based strength. Even if he was exposed, it would be a piece of cake for the Xuantu tribe to kill him. At this moment, he felt how weak and insignificant he was. However, Liao Feiyu had his own grandfather and a backer. He, Muri Tianxi, also had a backer. He had a godfather. Brat, how dare you hurt my sister? Today, I'll take your head. I'll let you know the consequences of hurting my sister. At this time, Liao Feiyu's cold voice was heard. He moved and returned to the arena in an instant. He stared at Tianxi with a murderous look. Very well. Today, I'd like to see whether it's you or me who dies. Tianxi stared at Liao Feiyu and said coldly. Damn, is this really going to be a life-and-death battle? The Xuantu tribe didn't stop them. Since both parties are going to have a life-and-death battle, this will be a life-and-death battle. That Muri Tianxi could kill Liao Feiyan in an instant. Will Liao Feiyu be a match for him? Who would have thought that a young man from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group would have a life-and-death battle with a genius from the Outstanding Talents group? They aren't on the same level at all. Their ages aren't on the same level, but their strength is. Judging from what happened just now, Muri Tianxi seems to be stronger. The surrounding experts and disciples of the various tribes were constantly discussing, their eyes fixed on the arena. At the same time, the news about the arena spread like wildfire to other parts of the underground city and the other tribe. Muri Tianxi of the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group had challenged Liao Feiyan, one of the top 10 geniuses of the Outstanding Talents group, because his mother had been humiliated. Then, he had a life-and-death battle with Liao Feiyu in the arena. This news spread like wildfire within the underground city. When everyone saw this news, they were all dumbfounded, and their faces were filled with shock. Bam, bam, bam. Sister, brother-in-law is going to have a life-and-death battle with Liao Feiyu. Inside the cave where the Johhe tribe live, a young man knocked on the door of a room and shouted in shock and disbelief. Inside the room, Gong Cheng was sitting cross-legged when she heard her brother's voice. She was startled. She waved her arm and opened the door. Sister, something bad has happened. Brother-in-law is in big trouble. The moment the door opened, the young man immediately rushed over and shouted loudly. What happened to Tianxi? Gong Cheng Miao Miao didn't care what her brother had called Tianxi. She stood up quickly and stared at him in shock. Chapter 41-48. Brother-in-law is going to have a death match with Liao Feiyu because of his mother. The battle is about to begin and the news has spread like wildfire in the underground city. In the Johhe tribe's residence, a young man reported to Gong Cheng Miao Miao with an anxious look on his face. Gong Cheng Miao Miao was dumbfounded when he heard this. Tianzi is going to have a death match with Liao Feiyu? Liao Feiyu? She knew of Liao Feiyu, the top genius of the prodigy group. In the Six Paths universe, he was one of the favorites to win the championship. Why would Tianzi want to have a death match with Liao Feiyu? No, I must stop him now. Tianzi is no match for Liao Feiyu. I must stop him now. Gong Cheng Miao Miao's face was filled with panic as he ran outside. Sigh, sister, don't worry. Brother-in-law just killed Liao Feiyu's sister, Liao Feiyan. Liao Feiyan is a pinnacle universe supremacy, yet she was killed by brother-in-law. Brother-in-law hid his strength. His strength is also at the pinnacle universe supremacy level. Holy shit, this news has spread like wildfire in the underground city. Brother-in-law hasn't even cultivated for 100 million years, yet he already possesses such terrifying strength. This is heaven-defying. When the young man saw his sister's anxious expression, he hurriedly followed behind and said loudly. He received this news from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix Group's chat group. When he heard this news, he was also dumbfounded and filled with disbelief. Now, all the experts and disciples of the tribes had rushed over to watch this deathmatch. They all came to see this young man who had cultivated for less than 100 million years but was already at the pinnacle universe supremacy level. In the entire Six Paths universe, this could be said to be unprecedented and unparalleled. What? Gong Cheng Miao Miao froze when he heard this, but he didn't ask any questions and flew outside immediately. The arena was right outside the cave they were staying in. When he flew out, he saw two figures standing on the arena. In the surroundings, a dense crowd of experts and disciples were rushing over to this side. Holy shit, how is this possible? Brother Tianzi has the strength of a pinnacle universe supremacy. Gong Cheng Miao Miao came to the edge of the arena and heard Tu Jiangtong's exclamation. The experts and disciples who had just arrived were also discussing in shock. Are you ready to die? In the arena, Liao Feiyu stared coldly at Tianzi. His face was filled with murderous intent and confidence. Today, Mu Li Tianzi had humiliated him, and he would make him pay with his life. The one who deserves to die is you. When Tianzi heard Liao Feiyu's words, his face was filled with a cold expression. His palm moved, and with the sharp sword in his hand, he directly attacked. Tianzi, be careful. Below the stage, Gong Cheng Miao Miao shouted anxiously and concernedly when he saw the battle breaking out. Reckless fool. When Liao Feiyu saw Tianzi taking the initiative to attack him, his face was filled with coldness. With a wave of his hand, a shield and a spear appeared in his hand. He waved his spear and stabbed it at Tianzi. Boom. With a single move, the arena cracked open, and a burst of earth-attributed energy rushed toward Tianzi. Tianzi waved his arm, and numerous water-attribute swords flew out in all directions. Then, they quickly floated above his head and formed a sword formation. The sword formation directly met Liao Feiyu's attack. Bam, bam, bam. The sword formation attacked, and the sharp swords carried a powerful aura, directly breaking Liao Feiyu's attack. Following that, the sword formation continued to attack Liao Feiyu without losing any momentum. Earth, sky lifting. Liao Feiyu felt the power of Tianzi's attack. His eyes focused, and he directly raised his shield. The surrounding soil spread towards the shield, directly forming an incomparably huge and thick defense. Water, doppelganger. Water, sword mound. When Tianzi saw this, his eyes focused, and his body directly split into dozens of doppelgangers. Each doppelganger held a water sword in their hands, and they stood in a fixed position. Dozens of doppelgangers attacked Liao Feiyu at the same time. Seeing this, Liao Feiyu's face darkened. He did not use the bloodline weapon in his body immediately. If he used such a weapon right from the start, he would be looked down upon by others. Ha! He shouted, and the soil around him surged towards him. His entire body began to expand rapidly, and soon, he became a 100-meter giant. The long spear in his hand also expanded more than 10 times under the cover of the soil. Liao Feiyu stared at Tianzi's figure with contempt, and the long spear in his hand swept with a terrifying aura, 21 sword. When Tianzi saw this, his expression did not change. His 21 doppelgangers suddenly turned into water energy, and directly surged into the water sword in his hand. Instantly, the water sword shone brightly, and a stream of light streaked across. The 21 sharp swords connected together, and with a sharp edge, they directly met the long spear. Bam, bam, bam. A violent collision sound was heard. Everyone around could see that the long spear in Liao Feiyu's hand gradually turned into soil, and fell to the ground. The water sword turned into water, attached to the long spear, and instantly attacked his huge giant arm. Damn it, what kind of weird attack is this? When Liao Feiyu saw this, his expression changed, and he quickly dodged. One of his giant arm was directly cut off. However, he was not injured. What? Liao Feiyu is being suppressed by Muri Tianzi. Muri Tianzi is so powerful. Liao Feiyu is at a disadvantage. What kind of swordsmanship is Muri Tianzi using? It's so powerful. Hiss, I can't even imagine this. Muri Tianzi is too monstrous. When the surrounding experts saw that Muri Tianzi had completely suppressed Liao Feiyu, they all opened their eyes wide and discussed among themselves. The youths of the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group were even more shocked. How could there be such a terrifying existence among them? What kind of opportunity did Muri Tianzi obtain? In the seats of honor, the experts of the top tribes looked at Muri Tianzi with sparkling eyes, and they were somewhat shocked. What kind of opportunity could allow such a young man to possess such great strength? Tianzi. At this moment, Muri Yin who had received the news, flew over with a pale face. When she saw the situation in the arena, she was also shocked. Muri Yin parents and brother were also shocked and incredulous. The young man in the arena was their grandson? Nephew? Chapter 41-49, A piece of trash like you dares to harass my mother? You must be tired of living. In the arena, Tianzi fixed his cold gaze on Liao Feiyu with a disdainful look. The discussions and exclamations around the arena did not reach his ears. He only had eyes for Liao Feiyu. As soon as he finished speaking, he continued his attack. His figure flickered, and he split into several dozen doppelgangers, each holding a sharp sword in their hands. Dozens of doppelgangers surrounded Liao Feiyu rapidly. Earth, heavy strike, tremor, gravity suppression. Liao Feiyu stared at him with a cold expression. He let out a low growl and smashed the huge shield in his hand onto the ground. The ground began to collapse and tremble violently. Like waves, ripples spread out in all directions. At the same time, the entire space seemed to have frozen. A strong gravitational force filled the entire arena. It was a wide-range attack. Tianzi stood in the arena and instantly felt the gravitational force below him increasing to a terrifying level. His speed had been reduced by half. Tianzi's expression remained unchanged. With a wave of his palm, waves of seawater appeared out of nowhere and covered the ground. The seawater rose higher and higher, drowning Tianzi's figure. Swish. In the seawater, he was like a swimming fish as he continued his attack on Liao Feiyu. Roar. Liao Feiyu stared at him and let out a low growl. The long spear in his hand expanded again and he threw it towards Tianzi. Bam! Tianzi was in the water and his figure flashed instantly. Around him, water doppelgangers held sharp swords and formed a sword formation. Beams of light connected the sharp swords together. He has integrated the formation into his sword technique. What a strong sword formation. If the sword formation is formed, Liao Feiyu will definitely not be a match for Mu Li Tianzi. Beside the arena, a few old and middle-aged men appeared beside Gong Cheng Miao Miao. They looked at everything in the arena in awe. Great-grandfather, great-grandfather, daddy. Gong Cheng Miao Miao's younger brother shouted when he saw the sudden appearance of the group of figures. This Mu Li Tianzi either has a heaven-defying fortuitous encounter or is taught by a powerhouse. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to reach such a realm and possess such powerful combat skills and experience. Gong Cheng Miao Miao's great-grandfather nodded and said, Miao Miao, do you know Mu Li Tianzi? Great-grandfather, I didn't know he was so strong. Great-grandfather, will he be all right? Gong Cheng Miao Miao shook his head and asked worriedly. No, his combat experience and reflexes are much better than Liao Feiyu's. He won't lose. Gong Cheng's great-grandfather shook his head and said, "That's good, that's good." Gong Cheng heaved a sigh of relief and continued to watch. To have such combat experience at such a young age, he must have an expert teaching him. An old man standing beside Gong Cheng Miao Miao's great-grandfather commented. The others nodded in agreement. Sky Sword, Demon Ceiling. At this moment, Tian Xi's cold voice rang out in the arena. On the arena, a huge sword formation was formed. The entire sword formation shone with a sharp luster as countless swords intertwined to form a huge pattern. The huge sword formation surrounded Liao Feiyu completely. One by one, the sharp swords flew towards him in a relentless attack. Bam! 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 Liao Feiyu held the shield in his hand and fended off the attacks with an ugly expression. Ka, Ka, Ka. On the surface of his incomparably huge shield, cracks appeared one after another. Damn it, how can this guy's attacks be so strong? Liao Feiyu's face was cold. He didn't plan to use his bloodline weapon immediately. He wanted to rely on his own strength to kill Tian Xi. If he used his bloodline weapon, even if he won, others would know that he relied on his powerful weapon to defeat Tian Xi. But now, if he didn't use his bloodline weapon, he wouldn't be a match for Tian Xi. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as he was thinking, the situation changed. Below him, sharp swords suddenly pierced through the soil under his feet and shot towards him. What? Liao Feiyu's expression changed when he saw this. However, he couldn't react at this moment. Peng, 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 peng. The sharp swords slashed at him, causing his 100-meter-tall body to quickly crumble. Pieces of Earth-type energy armor fell to the ground. The huge impact caused his heart to tremble violently. Fresh blood flowed out of his mouth. His body couldn't help but fly up into the sky. That Liao Feiyu is going to lose. He is going to lose so quickly. To be able to defeat someone at the same level, this Mu Li Tianxi is much stronger than I imagined. He is almost a half step into the Universe Lord realm. Some of the experts in the surroundings judged as they watched the battle on the arena. Liao Feiyu's father, grandfather, and the others all looked on with icy expressions. Mu Li Tianxi, don't think of defeating me. If I say I will kill you, I will kill you. Liao Feiyu vomited blood as he flew up into the sky. His entire body was in excruciating pain. His face was contorted and filled with a sinister expression. Liao Feiyu covered his chest with his palm and clawed. Wang. A khaki-colored hammer appeared in his hand. When the entire khaki-colored hammer appeared. When the earth hammer appeared, it emitted an earthen yellow glow. The water swords that were attacking him rapidly crumbled and disappeared in the face of this earthen yellow light. It was as though he had met a terrifying existence. Scram! Liao Feiyu's face was flushed as he swung the earth hammer downwards. Boom! The earthen yellow energy surged downwards and engulfed the entire arena. The illusory image of the earth hammer covered the entire arena. Tianxi's expression changed slightly when he saw this. All the clones around him gathered towards him. However, in the next instant, all the clones collapsed under the force of this energy. Tianxi raised the sharp sword in his hand. The sharp sword split into 8 blades and revolved around him to form a defensive barrier. Ka. However, this defensive barrier crumbled rapidly under the attack of the earth hammer. Fortunately, the earth hammer's attack had completely disappeared at this moment. Is this his trump card? Is this the treasure that the Xian Tu tribe expert gave him? Tianxi stared at the earth hammer and sensed the threat of death from it. However, there wasn't much of a change in his expression. His foster father had already told him about Liao Feiyu's supreme treasure. Now that he sensed its terrifying might, he wasn't worried at all. He had 100% confidence and trust in his foster father. Chapter 4150, Boom! A rumbling sound rang out in the arena, and a terrifying energy wave struck the defense around the arena. Liao Feiyu stood in the center with the earth hammer in his hand. A sandstorm slowly formed around him. Above him, an illusory image of an earth hammer condensed, exuding a powerful aura. The sudden change and Liao Feiyu's sudden counterattack made all the experts and disciples of the surrounding tribes slightly startled. What is this? What a powerful treasure! On the Muley tribe's side, the group of elders and experts, including Tianxi's grandfather, were shocked to see Liao Feiyu's sudden counterattack. They stared nervously at the earth hammer in Liao Feiyu's hand. This weapon isn't simple. No, this weapon is very, very strong. He's just a small disciple of the universe supremacy level. How could he have such a powerful treasure? An elder of the Muley tribe said with an embarrassed expression. As universe ruler level existences, they could naturally sense whether a treasure was good or bad. The earth hammer in Liao Feiyu's hand contained a terrifying amount of energy and power. Even the most powerful treasure of the Muley tribe was inferior to it. That shouldn't be the case. A disciple of such a level shouldn't have such a powerful treasure. Oh no. Another elder of the Muley tribe said with a gloomy face. When Tianxi's grandfather heard this, his expression changed drastically. His face was filled with worry and anxiety. Muri Yiner's heart skipped a beat when she heard that. She quickly flew to Wang Xian's side. Mr. Wang Xian, will Tianxi be in danger? Muri Yiner looked at Wang Xian, clenched her fist and asked. His son had suddenly displayed such a powerful and heaven-defying strength. Even as a mother, she did not know about his strength. This was definitely related to Wang Xian. Even if Tianxi's talent was heaven-defying, it was definitely because of Wang Xian that he could possess such strength and battle experience. Otherwise, it would be impossible for such a powerful existence to be born. Don't worry. There won't be any danger. Wang Xian looked at Muri Yiner and gave her a faint smile. That's good, that's good. Upon hearing Wang Xian's words and seeing her smile, Muri Yiner was completely relieved. Until today, she still didn't know the background of this mysterious young man whom she had saved. Fortunately, she could tell that Wang Xian was sincere about Tianxi and treated him like his own child. On the side, Tianxi's grandfather and the elders of the Muley tribe heard this. They looked at each other and then looked at the arena again. They had witnessed the mysteriousness and power of Tianxi's adoptive father. Not to mention anything else, being able to nurture Tianxi to the peak of the universe venerable realm was already very terrifying. Oh no, how could that guy have such a powerful weapon? On the Zhouhe tribe's side, Gongcheng Miao Miao's younger brother exclaimed in surprise and stared nervously. Gongcheng Miao Miao bit her lips and stared at him. Bloodline weapons? They're the most powerful treasures in every clan of the Mystic Earth tribe, aren't they? Only the most powerful seniors would have it, right? Tianxi is in trouble. Seeing this, Tu Jiangtong's expression changed slightly, and he said, "You're right. Although he had a good relationship with Tianxi, he couldn't help him in this situation. He was only a fifth-order universe venerable, he was too weak. Furthermore, this matter concerned the Mystic Earth tribe and the Liao clan. How could he, a fifth-order venerable of the Tu tribe, meddle in the affairs of the Liao clan? Even if he looked for his father and grandfather, it would be useless. TSK. Some of the experts of the dead tribe looked at the earth hammer weapon and shook their heads indifferently, with a hint of mockery in their eyes. They naturally knew about such a treasure. It wasn't something a peak universe venerable disciple could possess. The experts of the surrounding tribes understood in their heart. This was the Mystic Earth tribe, this was the Liao clan, and they were going to get rid of this monstrous kid. Little bastard, are you ready to die? Liao Feiyu stood there like an ancient war god. His gaze was fixed on Tianxi, and his face was filled with disdain. The powerful aura made him feel that he could even face off against a first-order sovereign realm expert. Around the ring, the other 8 geniuses who were ranked in the top 10 were frowning too. They knew that they couldn't fight against Liao Feiyu with such a powerful treasure. No, without reaching the universe sovereign realm, you can't suppress Liao Feiyu. One of the young geniuses from the dead tribe said, "A dead person can make you more arrogant." Tianxi stared at Liao Feiyu, his expression unchanged, but his eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. "I will cripple your limbs first, then bury your head." Liao Feiyu's face turned cold when he heard Tianxi's words. He raised the earth hammer in his hand, and the blood patterns connected. He waved his arm, and an earth python formed on the earth hammer, attacking Tianxi. The earth python carried the strength of an invincible universe venerable. "Tianxi, watch out." Below, Gong Cheng Miao Miao's expression changed when he saw the terrifying attack, and he shouted at Tianzi on the arena, "Do you think you're the only one with a powerful treasure?" Tianzi's eyes narrowed when he saw the earth python's power, and his body shook. A book slowly appeared above his head. On the cover of the book, there was a huge word forbidden. Roar. Roar. The earth python let out a roar, swayed its huge body, and wrapped around Tianzi. Wang. When the earth python came before Tianzi and was about to wrap around him, the book of water forbidden spells emitted a faint ripple. A ripple of water rushed towards the surroundings. The ripple passed by, and the earth python's attack stopped instantly, as though time had been frozen. Bam! Following which, the earth python gradually turned illusory, and completely disappeared. Tianzi was shocked when he saw this. He had merely summoned the book and allowed it to hover around him. It was a simple treasure, yet it possessed such terrifying might. What kind of treasure did Godfather give him? What? Liao Feiyu's eyes narrowed when he saw this, and he looked at the unharmed Tianzi in disbelief. Die, die. He raised the earth hammer in his hand, and smashed it at Tianzi. In the sky, an illusion of an earth hammer appeared. The entire earth hammer covered Tianzi completely, and there was no room for him to escape. He raised the earth hammer with both hands, and smashed it downward. Boom! A loud explosion was heard. Tianzi looked up, and waves of water energy surged into the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. Chapter 4151, Buzz. The energy in Tianzi's body surged into the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. The Book of Water Forbidden Spells trembled again and emitted a ripple. The ripple was directed at the giant hammer in the sky. It was still a simple ripple, and it was still an attack without any powerful aura. When the ripple surged toward the hammer also emitted a series of ripples as if it had turned illusory. Following this, the hammer formed by the energy of the earth element dissipated immediately. Tianzi raised his head to look at the scene, and the corners of his mouth curled up. He stared at Liao Feiyu in front of him and walked toward him. A river appeared under his feet. Tianzi strolled toward it with a hint of elegance and disdain. He looked so calm. No, 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 how is this possible? That is the strongest bloodline weapon of our Liao clan. How could you possibly resist it? How is this possible? At this moment, Liao Feiyu was completely flustered when he saw his attack being nullified in an instant. He shook his head and roared. He raised the hammer in his hand and smashed it at Tianzi again. How is this possible? What kind of treasure is that? How could it resist the attack of the bloodline weapon of our Liao clan? Liao Feiyu's grandfather and some top experts of the Xian Earth tribe who were sitting in the upper seats immediately stood up and stared at the arena. Bloodline weapons were the top weapons of the Xian Earth tribe. There were 4 great tribes in the Xian Earth tribe, and each tribe only had 3 or 4 bloodline weapons. However, each bloodline weapon was extremely powerful. It was made by gathering a huge amount of treasures and resources from the entire Xian Earth tribe. Yet, such a powerful weapon and treasure had no way of dealing with that young man. What kind of treasure was that young man carrying? What kind of treasure was it? Gasp, that Mu Li Tianzi also has a treasure, and his treasure is extremely powerful. It completely suppresses Liao Feiyu's treasure. When the experts and disciples of the tribes saw this scene, their faces were filled with shock. Many of them knew a little about the treasure in Liao Feiyu's possession. However, the top treasure of the Xian Earth tribe was suppressed by the treasure in the hands of a young man? What? How was this possible? This is. Over at the Zhouhe tribe, Gong Cheng, Miao Miao's grandfather, and the other experts of the Zhouhe tribe stared at the Book of Water Forbidden Spells floating above Tianzi's head. Their eyes widened and their breathing quickened. They could sense an extremely powerful water energy from it. This water energy was extremely pure. I'll kill you, I'll kill you. Liao Feiyu widened his eyes and gritted his teeth. His face was filled with madness. When he saw Mu Li Tianzi walking towards him, his eyes were filled with anger. He was actually forced into such a state by a fellow who was a generation younger than him. I'm actually not his match. His eyes were bloodshot as he raised the earth hammer in his hand. In the next instant, his body was enveloped by the earth energy that erupted from the earth hammer. The earth hammer in his hand also rapidly grew bigger. This time, he directly turned into a 1,000-meter-tall giant. His huge body, with the support of the earth hammer, instantly caused his strength to erupt to the peak. Especially the earth hammer in his hand, the faint roar of a huge beast could be heard. The earth hammer vibrated and smashed towards Tian Ci. This hammer was earth-shattering. Its destructive power has already reached the First Order Universe Lord realm. All the surrounding Universe Ruler realm powerhouses narrowed their eyes when they saw this scene and exclaimed in unison. In the Muley tribe, everyone's faces were filled with nervousness. The huge earth hammer descended from the sky. Tian Ci, who was on the stage, looked extremely small, like an ant that could be easily smashed to death. Tian Ci felt Liao Feiyu's aura in front of him and his face was filled with seriousness. He slowly extended his right hand and placed it on top of the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. Waves of water energy surged into it. When the water energy surged into the Book of Water Forbidden Spells, there was only a slight ripple. The entire Book of Water Forbidden Spells was incomparably calm. After all, the Book of Water Forbidden Curse was too powerful. It was a fragment of 2/3 of the heavenly yuan fortune. Tian Ci could not even control such a treasure. In fact, Tian Ci could not even open the first page of the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. However, there was no need for him to open it. Even if he borrowed a trace of the book's power, it would still be extremely terrifying. A treasure like the Book of Water Forbidden Spells was something that even a Heaven Yuan Creation Realm expert would fight for with all their might. If such a treasure was in the hands of a pinnacle Universe Lord Realm expert, it would not be a good thing, because it would be coveted by a Heaven Yuan Creation Realm expert. The energy within Tian Ci's body surged into the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. This time, the Book of Water Forbidden Spells only emitted a faint glow. At this moment, the incomparably huge earth hammer had already descended from above. The attack of the earth hammer was like an endless mountain range smashing down. It was exceptionally terrifying. Boom! Around them, all the experts and disciples stared at this scene with their eyes fixed on it. Tian Ci lifted his head and stared at it. In the next instant, the earth hammer landed on the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. The ultimate treasure of my Liao family, indestructible. Die! Liao Feiyu roared and energy surged from his body. A booming sound was heard. The surface of the Book of Water Forbidden Spells shone brightly. A little high profile. I'm afraid my trip to the Six Paths universe is coming to an end. Wang Xian shook his head when he saw this scene. Wang Xian had not expected to use a powerful weapon to clash with the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. Why would he still need to engage in close combat when he already had the combat strength of a pinnacle universe lord? Wouldn't it be better to attack from a distance? Why did he have to use a weapon to clash with the Book of Water Forbidden Spells? Wang Xian was slightly speechless. He looked over, and so did everyone else. In their line of sight, the huge earth hammer collided with an azure blue book. The size of the two were not on the same level. However, after the collision, the Book of Water Forbidden Spells was attacked. The entire cover of the book trembled slightly as though it was about to be opened. However, the impact of the Book of Water Forbidden Spells was still not enough to open the first page. The Book of Water Forbidden Spells trembled and formed a ripple that charged towards the earth hammer. In the next instant, under the gaze of hundreds of millions of experts and disciples from the Six Paths universe, the huge earth hammer began to crumble and dissipate. This time, what crumbled and dissipated was not just the energy condensed from the earth attribute. It was the bloodline weapon, the earth hammer. How could a powerful weapon forged after birth go head-on against a Heaven Yuan creation treasure? Even if it was just a fragment of a Heaven Yuan creation treasure. Chapter 4152, Ka. The sound of something shattering resounded in the arena. Liao Feiyu's giant body froze. The earth hammer in his hand started to crumble under everyone's gaze. Completely crumbled. At this moment, he felt the crumbling earth hammer. He was completely stunned as he watched the Liao family's powerful bloodline weapon crumble. Yes, he was completely stunned this time. This earth hammer was one of the Liao family's top weapons. Now it was destroyed. Destroyed in the hands of a mere peak universe venerable brat. Fart. Liao Feiyu's grandfather's face turned pale as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the arena, his body trembling violently. Damn it, the silver earth hammer was destroyed. It was actually destroyed. Liao Feiyu's grandfather's eyes were bloodshot as he revealed a ferocious expression. He roared and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. The silver earth hammer was one of the few bloodline treasures of the Liao family. It was one of the Black Earth tribe's inherited treasures. Now, it had actually been destroyed. This was a huge loss to them. How is this possible? How could the silver earth hammer be destroyed so easily? What treasure is that in the young man's hand? Hiss, a bloodline treasure was actually destroyed. This. In the blink of an eye, numerous powerful beings from the Shen Earth tribe stood up. Their faces fell as they stared at the scene in shock. For a youth to possess the strength of a universe-venerable realm expert was already shocking to them. Now, the young man's weapon had actually destroyed their Black Earth tribe's bloodline weapon. This? No. Liao Feiyu stared at the crumbling silver earth hammer and roared with bloodshot eyes. When you bullied my mother, did you think about this? Are you ready to die? Tianzi stared at them, his face cold and sinister. His expression didn't change much. He continued to walk towards Liao Feiyu, his eyes locked onto him. Liao Feiyu saw Tianzi approaching. This time, he couldn't help but take 2 steps back. His face was filled with fear. He didn't want to die. Around them, all the experts and disciples of the tribes were watching in shock. Die. Tianzi suddenly sped up. From the Book of Water Forbidden Spells, a stream of water fell onto the sharp sword in his hand. A wave of terrifying energy formed on the sword. The next moment, it slashed at Liao Feiyu. Stop. Liao Feiyu's father's expression kept changing as he watched from his seat of honor. He gritted his teeth and let out a low growl. He flew up to the arena and stared at Tianzi with a murderous look in his eyes. With a wave of his arm, a pile of soil and sand instantly buried Tianzi. Liao Feiyu's father had participated in the Heaven List Group's competition. Although he did not enter the top 10, he was still in the top 30. The strength of a fourth-order universe sovereign. His attack was fatal to a peak universe venerable disciple. There was almost no possibility of escape. Liao Feiyu's father's sudden intervention caught everyone off guard. Tianzi's mother, grandfather, and the elders of the Muley tribe were also stunned by the sudden change of the situation. Some peak ninth-order universe sovereigns frowned when they saw Liao Feiyu's father's sudden attack. Some experts looked over at the Black Earth tribe and shook their heads when they saw that the experts of the Black Earth tribe had no intention of stopping them. The Black Earth tribe was one of the top 2 tribes in the Six Paths cosmos. Other tribes did not dare to interfere with their affairs. The Black Earth tribe had disregarded the rules and wanted to kill Muley Tianzi. Wang Xian shook his head when he saw the scene. He waved his arm and a water sword appeared in front of the soil and sand, neutralizing the attack of the soil and sand. Is this the Black Earth tribe? Trying to suppress others when they are no match for them. TSK, a universe sovereign is going to kill them directly. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with mockery as he looked on. He was not surprised by the scene before him. Ever since Wang Xian rose to prominence on Earth, he had encountered too many such incidents. The high and mighty forces had shamelessly broken the rules and directly killed the challengers that they thought were weak. Muley Tianzi, have finally witnessed the so-called big tribes. When the small ones can't beat them, the old ones come and kill me. Is this the style of the Black Earth tribe? This is the Black Earth tribe. Tianzi broke out in cold sweat when he saw the scene. Fortunately, his foster father had intervened. Otherwise, unless he removed the restriction in his body, he would die without a doubt. You deserve to die for destroying the supreme treasure of our Black Earth tribe. You deserve to die for insulting our Black Earth tribe. When Liao Feiyu's father saw that his attack had been blocked, his eyes narrowed and he roared with an ugly expression. Your Black Earth tribe disciple fought with me on the arena and his weapon was destroyed. How dare you say that I deserve to die? Is the Black Earth tribe so shameless? A dignified top-notch tribe actually dares to say such shameless words. Truly shameless to the extreme. Tianxi couldn't help but bellow when he saw the murderous look on Liao Feiyu's father. The Black Earth tribe is so shameless. When the small ones can't beat them in the arena, the old ones come and try to kill Muley Tianxi. Isn't that too shameless? Liao Feiyu's father's attack shocked the surrounding experts and disciples. A young man couldn't help but comment, "Shut up." However, a middle-aged man beside him reprimanded him immediately. The weak were prey to the strong. The Black Earth tribe wasn't something they could discuss. All the rules were set by the strong. The history books were also written by the strong. The weak were ultimately the losers. As long as the strong were shameless, the weak wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Just like this moment. Shut up. The Black Earth tribe isn't someone you can give pointers to. If you say another word, I'll kill you. Liao Feiyu's father bellowed with murderous intent when he heard Tianxi. Tianxi's breathing quickened when he saw how overbearing he was. The other party wasn't reasoning with him at all. He was trying to oppress him with his strength. Sir of the Black Earth tribe, our Tianxi is still young and immature. I apologize to you and the Black Earth tribe on his behalf. I'm sorry. Tianxi's grandfather's expression changed drastically. He quickly flew to the arena and grabbed Tianxi's arm while apologizing to Liao Feiyu's father.